It's a Hanna-Barbera doggy throwdown. And Ferrari vs Chevrolet for V6 supremacy. Then there's baseball, outer space and the comic heart of the Rat Pack. It's Astro vs Dino. Which name is more glorious? Is this a valid comparison? Don't worry about it, load error at first glance, these are two machines of completely dissimilar purpose and design. But in fact, the Chevrolet Astro minivan and the mid-engine nearly a Ferrari Dino8123d751 GT are significantly similar. Both, for instance, are powered by V6 engines and have standard rear-wheel drive. In those ways, they're indistinguishable from one another. In every other way, not so much. Let's start with the Italian. Way back in February 1974, the Dino was built to celebrate Enzo Ferrari's beloved son, Dino, who overcame multiple sclerosis to become a fine engineer. Dino died young, in 1956, with visions of a 1.5-liter racing V6 on his mind. When it came time to develop a lower-priced, mid-engine car that would become an affordable Ferrari product, the Dino name rang true. The Pininfarina-designed prototype was first shown at the Paris Motor Show in 1965, production of the Dino 206 GT began in 1967, and that model evolved into the 246 GT, with a 195-horsepower 2.4-liter V6. It was brilliant. In contrast, Chevy's Astro was no thoroughbred. Using light truck components swiped mostly from the S10 pickup, the Astro was rushed into production as a 1985 model to meet the challenge of Chrysler's bombastically successful front-drive minivans. Tall and tippy, atop a suspension contemporary to late Model 2 horse wagons, the Astro, along with its twin, the GMC Safari, was nonetheless wildly successful. The M-Van, as it was known inside GM, sold reliably well for 21 model years, all the way through 2005. Millions were built as both passenger and commercial vehicles, and millions likely remain on the road, working hard. As noble as the Chevy Astro remains, this is a cakewalk for the Italian. Ferrari only made about 3,913 V6-powered Dinos 206s and 246s before production ended in 1974, when it was replaced by the V8-powered 308 GTB. But beyond the production sports car, Ferrari's Dino line includes a series of Formula 1, Formula 2 and prototype race cars powered by the tiny V6 engine that Dino Ferrari had dreamed of on his deathbed. GM used the Astro name on some show cars and Class 8 trucks, but that can't even come close to matching the glory earned by the Dino name, back in the early 60s. Beyond that, let's be frank, they're the same damn show. One is set in an absurd make-believe past, the other in an absurd make-believe future. Both shows had oversized pets. The Flintstone family had Dino the yappy happy dinosaur, while the Jetsons had Astro the mumbling space mutt. Dino was cute and all, but he never had much of a personality. He was purple and always ready to slobber up Fred's face, but he was kinda boring. The best Dino episode in the series, Dino Goes Hollyrock, has him starring in his own TV series as Sassy, an obvious parody of America's favorite collie. Meanwhile, Astro always had a big personality. He kind of talked, often walked upright, and at the end of almost every episode, he tricked George onto the automatic dog walking treadmill where he'd cry out for Jane to stop this crazy thing. Astro had personality, he had emotions, and he had better episodes dedicated to him. But beyond all that, Astro was the prototype for the greatest of all cartoon dogs. Back in 1962, the city of Houston finally got its first Major League Baseball team, the Colt 45s. When they moved into the new Astrodome in 1965, they became, well, the Astros. They finally won their first World Series title in 2017 when they beat the Los Angeles Dodgers in 7 games. Meanwhile, over in Korea, the Changwon NC Dinos have only been around since 2011. And last year, the Dinos won their first KBO Korean Series championship when they beat the Doosan Bears in 6 games. Here's why the NC Dinos are greater than the Astros. It's because the Astros blatantly stole signs and cheated their way to the 2017 series and still needed 7 games to beat the noble, upstanding Dodgers. That their tarnished title hasn't been stripped from them remains a crushing frustration in the heart of every Dodgers fan, including the one who is writing this. So, Dinos all the way. A few hundred people have been trained as NASA astronauts since the first Mercury 7 were announced on April 9, 1959. And there are 48 in the current NASA astronaut corps. None of them could sing or tell a joke as well as Dean Martin, Dino to his friends, the very soul of the infamous Rat Pack. In the years since his death at age 78 in 1995, Dean Martin's reputation has only grown. His voice was a mix of Bing Crosby-style crooning plus the liquid delivery of a saloon singer. With partner Jerry Lewis, he was half of the most potent comedic duo since Laurel and Hardy and one of the greatest nightclub acts ever. He could act too, pretty much. Stealing what did all those astronauts do? They went to the moon. Big whoop, this is into the foreseeable future, Dino will dominate Astro. And that's important to know.